The Western Conference playoff run is crazy, with the Pelicans, the Suns, the Kings, the Mavs, the Lakers, and the Warriors all among it, being the 5 through 10 seeds. But who will make it to the NBA playoffs? Well, let's start off with the 5th seed, the New Orleans Pelicans, 37-25, beating the Raptors today. And between the 5th seed, which is them, and the 10th seed, there is 4 games. They are having a very impressive season as Zion is healthy, and last year they were the 1 seed in heading into January, but Zion then went down and they went down with him. But with a fully healthy Zion and a healthy squad in general, with CJ McCollum only missing a little bit, but Brandon Ingram being majority healthy, and their roster as a whole being pretty healthy, they've been able to climb up to the 5th seed, and good to them. But on their way home, they have a pretty decent schedule. They have the 9th hardest schedule in the NBA, with matchups against the Celtics, the Thunder, the Bucks, the Cavs, the Clippers, and 2 against the Phoenix Suns. But they do have 1 against the Pistons, the Spurs, 2 against the Blazers, 1 against the Nets, and against the Hawks. So that should help them on the way home. The one game that you have to watch out for the Pelicans is that last game of the season against the Lakers, especially because you need to beat the teams around you, and the Lakers do have the tiebreaker. So they need to get that one, and they need to win the Kings game on the 12th of April, need to handle the Warriors on the 13th of April, need to handle the Suns on the 8th of April and the 2nd of April. They play them both there, and those are the teams that they need to win because they're the teams around them. Moving on to the next side, which is the 6th-seeded Phoenix Suns. Today they beat the Denver Nuggets, very impressive win in overtime. And as a Lakers fan, I'm like, why doesn't Denver play like that against us? Probably because we're trash. But moving on, they're 36-26. They are the 6th seed, and they've had a decent stretch here with all 3 stars healthy. As Bradley Beal, he has been in and out of the lineup, but for the last 2, he's come back, looked good. They lost against the Thunder 2 games back, but I don't blame that against him. But they have the hardest schedule in the NBA, with matchups against the Celtics twice, the Timberwolves twice, the Thunder, Nuggets, Bucks, and Cavs. Then they have matchups against the Spurs, Hornets, Raptors, and Hawks, but they have the hardest with a 570 win percentage coming up. So the games that they have to win, and obviously they have to win additional, but they have to win the games around them, especially they have the Kings on the 13th of April, so put this in your calendar. Then the 2nd and the 8th of April they play the Pelicans, which are big games. Moving on to our next team, we have the Sacremento Kings at the 7th seed. Domantas Sabonis has been carrying that team better than Fox this year, and that could be a crazy take, but that's what I think. And they are looking very good in that 7th seed, but that can change quickly as they're 5-5 in their last 10 games, and they just lost to the Bulls yesterday in a catastrophic fashion, where they were up 22 and end up blowing a lead to a team led by Kobe White. Like, Kobe White is a player that we haven't really known about up until this season, and they lost to that guy when they need to win games. But moving on, these 2 matchups, they have to win against the Lakers, otherwise the Lakers will overtake them, which is tomorrow, the 7th of March, and the 14th of March. They also have to win the game against the Mavs on the 27th and the 30th, because those games are games close to them. And they have 2 more games on the 12th and 13th of April on a back-to-back towards the last stretch of their season. So the Kings are the 7th seed, but will it stay that way? We don't know. But the 8th seed, the Mavs, Luka Doncic is crazy. I think if he wants to stay in that MVP discussion, he has to finish in the top 6 seeds. Can't be an 8th seed. But moving on, they lost to the Pacers today at home, which was a very bad loss. But they have a very easy schedule home, 25th in the NBA. And the reason I didn't bring up Sacramento, because they have a mid-strength of schedule, which is 14th. So it doesn't really matter. It's just their ability to win games. But Dallas, they play OKC, Denver, Heat, the Kings twice, and Golden State 3 times. And they play a whole bunch of easy teams, such as the Pistons, Spurs, Hornets, Rockets, Hawks, and Jazz. So if the Mavs do handle business, they should be able to get through. But there are some games that they do have to focus on, especially as they play the Kings on 2 games in a row on the 27th and 30th. They play the Warriors twice on the 3rd and 6th of April, and they play on the 14th of March. So they have to handle them, because if they give up those 3 games, the Warriors do pass them pretty easily. So they have to win those games, and that is it for the Mavericks. So it's all about handling business for the Mavericks. I think every team as of right now, if they handle their business and final 20 games they go 15-5 in that, then they make the top 6 seeds. It just depends on if your team handles their business. Moving on, the Lakers, my team, my squad. We have a pretty difficult run home, and we have the 8th difficult run home, but it's all really in this next stretch as the Lakers go Kings, Bucks, Timberwolves, Kings, Warriors, boom. And then they have another game against the Bucks. They have another game, 2 games against the Pacers, a game against the Cavs, another game against the Timberwolves. But honestly, I'm a little bit concerned, but I think if the Lakers can win these Kings games that are coming up tomorrow and on the 14th, have to win the Warriors games, and they're undersized. So I think the Lakers, if they show up and show the amount of effort that they need to, they will handle the Warriors on the 17th and 10th. And they need to win that last Pelicans game on the last day of the season. That could be very important, as the Lakers still have the tiebreaker. Then they can climb up the table. With LeBron and AD, they're cooking, and D'Angelo Russell is playing so well. The other night, he hit 3 threes in a row, and I'll play the clip. Exactly, he is crazy. And moving on to the next team, we have the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors, they have one of the easiest schedules in the NBA. 26, where they face only 2 hard teams in the Timberwolves and the Bucks. And then you could say the Heat, Magic, Pels, but I don't see them as hard teams, as the Knicks are injury riddled and the Heat are just inconsistent. But they play the Spurs 3 times, the Hornets, the Trailblazers, the Grizzlies, the Rockets, and the Jazz, which they do need to get wins against. So if they handle the business, they should be in the playoffs. But games to look out for Steph Curry, who's playing outstanding. But one thing I do have to mention is how they respond tomorrow against the Bucks, as that Celtics loss is devastating for team morale and all of it. As they lost, you guys saw, it was terrible. But yeah, they play the Bucks tomorrow. Let's see how they respond. But games we have to look out for: Mavs game on the 14th, the Lakers game on the 17th of March. Continuing, they have another game against the Mavs on the 3rd and the 6th, and they play a game against the Lakers on the 10th and the Pels on the 13th. Have to win those key games against the teams that you're close with, and they have been doing decent at that, as they did very recently beat the Lakers outside the coming out of the All-Star break. Even if it was without LeBron James, they won that game, and that was very important. They also won a game against the Suns on the 11th of Feb, so as long as you beat the teams near you, then that helps you get up, and obviously you need to win other games. But my predictions for who will make the 1 through 10 seed, because the Suns have the hardest record in the NBA, I'm going to predict that they finish as the number 10 seed. Call me crazy, but I think when I had a look at the Suns run home, and I'm just going to tell you, it is not fun, as they have the Timberwolves the last day of the season, then the Kings, Clippers, Pelicans, Timberwolves, Cavs, Pelicans, Thunder, Nuggets, and then they have 2 Spurs games. If they don't go at least 5-5, they are going to fall to the 10 seed, as other teams will be racking up wins. And it's just ugly. They also have this little stretch here. They had the Nuggets today, which they won, but then they have the Raptors, not too much of a worry, but then they have Celtics, Cavs, Hornets, Bucks. You're only going to see 2 and 4, I predict, for the Suns in that stretch. If Giannis is back by the 18th of March, they're going to go 2 and 4, and they can't do that. So I'm predicting that the Suns will finish as a 10 seed. The 9th seed, I am going to predict the Kings to fall to the 9th seed. They've been 5-5 and super inconsistent, so I'm putting them there. At the 8th seed, I am going to put the Los Angeles Lakers, because they do have a very hard schedule, and I think it'll be very close. I think these 5 through 10 will be within 2 games. Then at the 7th seed, I'm going to put the New Orleans Pelicans, because they have a very hard schedule as well. So if you guys know, I'm going to put the Dallas Mavericks at 6. I think they're a great team, and they should be able to get up there. They're honestly crazy, which if you guys have done the math, I'm putting the Warriors at 5. They have one of the easiest schedules, and I think they'll be coming home pretty strong. They're only 3 behind the loss column to the Pelicans, so I think they can climb up and get into the 5 seed to play the Clippers in a first round matchup, which I think they'll lose in 5. Sorry, Warriors fans, but that will be it for the video. What do you think of my predictions? What are your predictions, and who's going to make the playoff? If you're a Lakers hater or a Lakers fan like me, this is the reason why I think they can't win the championship.